In the Silicon Valley, a young founder called Elizabeth Holmes promised to change diagnosis with one tiny drop of blood and one revolutionary machine. Around her, powerful investors saw more than a device. They saw the next revolution and they wanted to believe first. The whole dream rested on something tiny, one small drop of blood supposed to unlock an entire medical diagnosis. On stage, she did not sell a machine. She sold certainty, control, and a future where medicine would finally be simple. The room applauded because the story was perfect. A young genius, a secret technology, and billions waiting to be made. But behind the glass, the people closest to the science were not celebrating. They were beginning to understand the problem. The results did not behave like a revolution. They failed, shifted, contradicted themselves, and quietly exposed the illusion. Inside the lab, the warning signs were already flashing, but outside, the company kept selling confidence. When engineers tried to warn her, the message was treated as a threat. The myth mattered more than the machine. So the company polished the dream. Every brochure made the future look cleaner than the reality hidden inside the lab. Then patients came, not investors, not journalists, but real people trusting the company with decisions about their health. A finger prick became the symbol of everything the Theranos promised: less pain, less waiting, and more answers. But many answers were not coming from the miracle device. In the background, ordinary machines were doing the work. The public saw innovation. Behind the curtain, the truth was smaller, older, and far less revolutionary. Erica Chung, a young researcher hired shortly after obtaining her degree in molecular and cellular biology from the University of California, played a whistleblower role. A journalist named John Carreyrou, working for the Wall Street Journal, did not believe the legend and began his investigation. Piece by piece, the evidence formed a pattern. The problem was no longer technical failure when the Theranos didn't meet expectations, but deliberate deception. When the questions became direct, charisma was no longer enough. The story began to lose its power. The same investors who once believed without seeing now began asking the question they should have asked earlier: where was the proof? The U.S. Department of Health and the SEC, the U.S. stock market regulator, quickly took up the case. This destroyed the secrecy, which ceased to be a protection. The machine that once looked like the future now stood exposed, stripped of mystery and forced into the light. In October 2016, in an open letter, Elizabeth Holmes indicated that the company would close its laboratories and lay off 340 employees. In the boardroom, belief turned into accusation. Everyone wanted answers, but responsibility had become harder to hold. For patients, the scandal was not abstract. It raised a terrifying question: had their medical choices been built on false results? The investigation connected everything: secrecy, fear, investors, patients, and a machine that never became what it claimed. In September 2018, the new CEO of the Theranos announced the dissolution of the company. The name came down from the wall. A brand built on revolution disappeared into silence. The story that began in Silicon Valley ended at the courthouse, where ambition would be judged against evidence. The co-founders of the Theranos had reached an amicable agreement with the SEC on the accusations of fraud, involving false financial and pharmaceutical reports launched in 2018. But they still had to face the criminal trial which started, for Elizabeth Holmes, in September 2021. In 2022, Elizabeth Holmes was found guilty of fraud and sentenced to more than 11 years in prison for defrauding investors. In 2018, the director of the SEC's San Francisco office, Gina Choi, stated that this case is an important lesson for Silicon Valley. She also called on innovators seeking to revolutionize and disrupt an industry to tell investors the truth about what their technologies are capable of today. Not what they hope they will be able to do someday.